All right, now that we have all these components put together, I'm just going to show you how to we now put them all into one scene. This is just a copy and paste, right? And so I just kind of have my artboard here, and I have all these different components. Got the ship, I brought the ship in, copy and paste, RC Goddess, and all these other, I don't know, flourishes components into RC. I have our base as well. I've made this one black, but you probably want a reference, right? So we can, see where to place things and things like that. So I'm gonna go to Canvas here, and right where we turn it in, let's see, Greek base. We're gonna go copy, right click on the image, copy image, go right back here. We're gonna create a new layer. We're gonna just gonna call this ref for reference, whatever. We're gonna right click, and we're gonna say paste. And as you can see, that reference is there. If it for some reason still is on here, it might look like this for some reason, don't know why. Just click on it, click here, left click, and then drag it up. We're just gonna lock that right there. So nothing happens to it. But if we need to grab color, just to see where we should position things, we can, right? So now we have this black base. This is where we're going to put everything together. But this one is going to, like we said in class, this is going to be our clipping mask, right? So we need another one. So once that clipping mask is created, we'll see this particular shape that's left, right? So again, just to show you, let's say once I'm all done, I put like this orange piece over it, right? And I make sure this is in front. So I'm going to right click, arrange, bring to the front, and then we're going to create a clipping mask by right clicking. It just leaves, again, everything else, but what was in that front piece becomes that clipping mask. So we're going to do that again, and we're just going to do a little bit later. But first, we're going to grab this vase, we're going to right click on it, say copy, we're going to make a new layer, call this one vase. We're going to drag that to the bottom. While selected on this layer, we're going to right click, again, go to the other paste, that's right below this paste with the little menu here. We're going to go paste in place. So as you can see right there, let me turn this draw layer off. There is another base right in place. So once we actually initiate the clipping mask, we'll be left with this on this layer. We'll be able to see all our cool components come together. So I'm going to lock this and I'm just going to hide it. We don't need that right now. And now we can get to work on the draw layer. I'm just going to leave this base here. Got that orange square. We're going to finish with that. And yeah, let's just start placing our components. So we got that first one in order. I'm going to maybe go while selected, turn that stroke up just a little bit. Maybe too much. Let me go back to 2 here. Yeah, that looks about right. Looks like our next piece is this one. Put that in place there. Looks like the next one is some squiggles. We got 2 squiggles here. Doesn't really matter. And it looks like this one's a little bit smaller. So what we can do, undo, move that, just to get it to match a little bit closer. You don't have to do this. I won't require this, but it's kind of nice. So what we can do is we can hold shift and just grab one of these corners, right? Just make it a little bit smaller. And it looks like that snap might be on, so if you don't like that smart guide snap, go up to view here and go smart guides. Click that off there. So it's not so weird and snappy. I'm going to duplicate this by holding Option on my keyboard, left clicking, I'm just going to move this over. Now we want this, we don't want to just move it anywhere. We want to hold shift as well. And now it moves it perfectly left and right only. Just going to kind of bump that right there. Actually, I might have to do it like this. It's not going to give us the exact desired result, but that's okay. But again, you don't have to do it like this. We could take the time to do that. To edit that like this, maybe move it over here, and then come grab this anchor point using our direct selection tool and just drag it. Again, hold shift so it's more angular and it's snapping. I'm just going to adjust this just a little bit because it looks a little off. And now I'm getting too particular. Then I'm holding shift to move it left and right. That looks better. That looks better to me. I'm just gonna move that point right back into place there. Sometimes it's weird and hard to click, don't know why, but just sometimes it is. All right, cool. So I'm gonna select both of these and just make sure I group them. Select both by going left click, hold shift, left click the other, right clicking on that, and then clicking group. Or you can do Command G. All right, next. Just kind of put those into place. I'm not going to do too much on these. Yeah, I'm going to leave those. Yeah, let me squish them just a little bit now. There we go. I couldn't resist. All right, next we got these squiggles. I think it might be the same ones. I'm not sure. They're the same. I think we are. So if you want something more flat there, this is a great opportunity just to play with this cage. You can do all sorts of things with this. All right. You can really adjust that line when using vector shapes. I'm just gonna, looks like it was more squiggles, so we just condense it just a little bit. Again, I'm just holding shift on my keyboard. This time I'm holding option, not shift. If we can condense it, just holding option. There we go. That's giving us a nice result. Yeah? So for the next line, looks like it's two straight white lines. We don't have those. We just make those. You can use this line segment tool. Again, holding shift creates that perfect straight line. You don't have to guess. And we're just going to go here, double click there, and make a white line. And again, it might be better for you just to watch first as I do this. I'm just going to move that line into place. About here-ish. You can always adjust this later. And again, I'm going to hold option on my keyboard. Just drag out another line. About here, probably. All right. Grab our next component. Just bring that over like so. And just like what we did with the top there, we don't have two of these. We just drag out another one, holding option on the keyboard, and moving it. Again, hold shift so it stays sort of in place, sort of in line. And there you go. And remember, last but not least, we're going to group these. There's going to be lots of groups within groups within groups. I'm going to click, hold shift, click our other component, right click, and press group. We can move this around too as a group. Again, I'm going to hold shift, Perfect. Next, now it might be easier to have this in the furthest back so it's not conflicting with anything. Drag that up a little bit. Maybe drag it down here. While selected on this square, and again, if you need to make a shape, you just go over here to the rectangle tool, drag something out. If you need to change that color, per usual, just go over there, change that color by double clicking on the fill or the stroke. All right, go back in. And if you want that exact color while selected on your object, hit that I for intelligent on your keyboard. Looks like it did change it just a little bit. That's great. And we can go back in. I'm going to add this ship next. Got this ship all ready to go. One thing I want to do before I do, I could keep this eye white. It would actually probably look pretty kind of cool. But I want to match this instead. So we're going to use our Pathfinder and just punch a hole with this eye shape into this boat. I'm going to go up to Window. I'm going to look for Pathfinder window. And while selected on the eye plus the boat, we're going to use minus in front. And really quickly, no matter where we put it, it takes on the color. There's just a literal hole in the back there. You can see that again using Command Y on our keyboard, and you can see what that looks like. Like the rest of these components, they need to be grouped together, each element. You just don't want these to be loose. So we're going to do a Command G or right click. Group. So now we select it, now we've got a group going on right there. Just going to drop the size of that, and remember to hold shift when you're doing this to constrain it. We can always change the size of this. We don't have to be too perfect, especially once we're in the clipping mask mode. We'll talk about editing with inside a clipping mask. All right, we got our sea goddess here. Again, we're going to make most of this black. We're going to make her body, her arms, her face. We're going to make that black. And it looks like that was Groot. There, I have to select that hair strand. Now, I could punch a hole, but I think what would be easier, no, which not I think I know. Since these pieces are still orange, this is great. I can just sample this stroke. And so when I put this on top of an orange object, it's just going to come through looking perfect, right? I'm just going to sample the stroke. Make sure that's it. Oh, forgot the eyebrows. And the eye. The eyes also needs a stroke. And then the do-rag cap, she got. Bam. Okay, that's awesome. Just grab these fins. Hit I on my keyboard. Turn those black. Oh, forgot the hand. Select it, I on my keyboard, make it black. And of course, last but not least, we select all of it. We right click, hit group. So now when it sits on top of that orange, it still looks correct, right? We're going to hold shift, make sure we constrain it down, and just kind of put it into place there. You know, looking at that reference, the sea goddess is much bigger. Something like this. And again, we'll fix it later. Just get it, sort of close there. All right, next, there comes some waves underneath. Oh, I forgot to do the little sticks for the boat, but you know what? It's fine. We can do those later. Some of you probably already did it. I didn't do it. It's cool. It's cool. We got waves. And then we got these other cool waves here that we can put at the bottom. Again, I'm just resizing them. I'm going to flip that stroke. And just kind of set that right at the bottom. And now I can just tell from the size of it, maybe this is too big, so I can just adjust this. Bring this up. Bring the sea goddess up, holding shift. And then again, still holding shift. Drag the size of this down. Maybe move it over. Again, I'm just holding shift. Grab the boat, do the same thing. Maybe drop the size of the boat, even some more. Something like that, right? Because you know these waves need to kind of go up here, and that's why we got that reference, right? We're going to keep adjusting. We're not going to get it right the first time. And for those white squiggles, again, let's change that color. I'm going to hold Alt, drag out a fresh one, so I don't, so I still have my old one. I'm going to change the color of that stroke. I'm just going to like two light humps on that. So something like that. And hold Option. Again, group these two after you're done. I'm just going to try to mimic what I'm seeing over there. It's like two humps. Something like that. Is. Yeah. And so for the most part, we got all our components into place, right? And so now that we have all our components into place, this is going to be a little tricky, so please watch this carefully. We're now going to select everything on our artboard. We're going to hold shift, or actually, let me redo that. We're going to select our clipping mask here. No, you know what? I was doing that right. Sorry about that. We're going to select everything first, and we're going to hold shift to deselect that vase. So we're going to very carefully hold shift and then click the vase. And now it's been deselected there. You want all of these components, and you can check by moving it around and then hitting undo just to make sure you got everything but the vase. Or you could tediously hold shift and click, 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 click on all these grouped components together. We're going to take all these group components that we have here, right? And we're going to right click and group these. And so now when we click, they're all grouped together. We're going to click our vase, right click, arrange, bring to the front, because remember, whatever's in the front is our clipping mask. We're going to select our clipping mask. We're going to select our group. We're going to right click and say make clipping mask. And there we have it. We have all our components clipped in our clipping mask, ready for us to manipulate and edit. And we can go back to our old vase, turn that on, and now it's pretty much come together, right? Now let's say we need to edit some stuff, something's not quite right? We can double click within our, we can keep double clicking within these various groups to manipulate them. So at the top level of this group is that whole group we just made, right? You can adjust and move it around. If we double click again, now we're in another layer, right? We can maybe adjust the size of this, change the color. Shoot, we can change it to blue for some reason. Don't know why. We can change the size of this. If we need to change something even within here, we double click again. And then, I don't know, we could make this a little bit bigger for some weird reason. Make it smaller, I don't know. And then once we're done editing, again, you can keep double clicking with inside this to get deeper and deeper to manipulate certain components within that clipping mask. But once you're all done, right? Once you're all done, you just want to double click out here or hit escape to get out of that editing. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Tomorrow, Friday, Friday the 13th at 1:30-ish, 1:15, 1:30, I'll be in the computer lab to definitely help people with all this stuff. So if you have more questions, concerns, also make no mistake, I'm here on Discord. So if you need extra help from your house, that's cool too. All right, let me know what you think. Good luck.